Hello, I am here with Michael,
Yep.
and he is the creator of.
Below the Stone.
So, you have this nice trailer. Why don't you talk about Below the Stone?
Yeah, Below the Stone is the game that I'm developing as the owner of Stroll Art Studios, and we're working on this game right here, Below the Stone. We had a Kickstarter recently which raised $40,000, and we have a huge fan base that's building up, and a lot of interest is starting to gather about this game. A lot of people comparing it to Minecraft, a lot of people comparing it to Terraria and Stardew Valley, all great games that I played and took inspiration from when creating this game. And it's a roguelike game about dwarves and crafting. So and cave adventures. And every time you descend into these mines, it's going to be a completely new cave system to explore and to fight through battles with various creatures. And we want to make it so every time you descend into these caves, it's going to be a completely new adventure.
Okay, so what was it like making this video game?
It's been a journey, to say the least. We went from having a Kickstarter back in around 2019 or so, which didn't quite raise the funding that we wanted, but ended up making us hundreds of new fans, and ended up getting the attention of a dozen publishers, including the publisher that we eventually signed with, Apogee Entertainment, the same guys that ended up creating Wolfenstein, ended up creating Duke Nukem, and kind of fostering id Software in their early days right before they ended up making Doom. So starting out with them is kind of a huge deal for us as an indie studio. So we have a lot to prove with this game, and we want to prove that.
Awesome. So, what was it like at PAX West convention?
Yeah, the PAX West convention was a big thing for us too. I had to fly out to Seattle, and it was the first big gaming convention since COVID. So there was the regular regulations, all the safety precautions, like you got to wear your mask, do the vaccine, and all that. But other than that, we ended up having a really big show. We ended up doing a lot of. There was a couple of TV interviews that ended up happening. And a lot of online interviews with us. So, and I think, Below the Stone ended up becoming sort of this hit at the show where there were a lot of streamers and YouTubers that were really interested in this game. I think that kind of shows what kind of gameplay we're doing here. We're doing something that, every time you play the game, we want something different happening. We don't want it to be the same monotonous tasks over and over and over again. So, that's what we're out to create here.
Awesome. And what was it like with the Kickstarter for all that money?
Yeah, we ended up raising $40,000 on Kickstarter. So, I don't like to sound braggadocious about this kind of stuff, but it proved to me that, the people who stuck with us since the original Kickstarter that didn't make its funding were still with us, as well as new people who saw what this game could be. So what it ended up proving to me was, this game has an audience out there, and not just an audience, a big audience who thinks it's worth that much to them. So we had a huge crowdfunding campaign, ended up raising that amount of money, and a lot of it's going to go to, it's all going to go back into the game, which will make it an even better experience for those who are that are going to be playing and those supporting us.
Fantastic. And what will you be selling any merch in the future?
Oh, of course. We have our Below the Stone stickers here. We ended up also doing Below the Stone pins. In the future, we're also going to do this isn't something you do a lot nowadays, but we're going to have a big box for Below the Stone too, which, that's an old 90s thing back in video games. But we're bringing back the big boxes with Below the Stone, which will come with, mugs, t-shirts, all sorts of merch. So with Below the Stone, and this is stuff that people get excited about. We have fans of ours that are asking, every week, when's the Below the Stone plushie going to be a thing? So we're definitely going to be doing merch, and I think we're going to start doing merch as the game gets closer to release, and post-release. So I think that's what we're going to wait for. We're going to wait for that post-release. We're going to be coming to not just PC and Steam, but we're also going to be coming to Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Fantastic. And my final question, where can we find Below the Stone?
Yes, of course. We can find, right now, Below the Stone is going to be released in quarter 2 or 3 of 2022. So coming up close next year, as well as we have our website, strollart.com. That's spelled STROLL art.com. And that's where you can find a lot of our news. We have a Discord channel on Twitter. We have all of our social media outlets. And if you just give Below the Stone a Google search, you'll find us. So hopefully you check us out.
Yes, and you have this awesome Below the Stones thing
Thank you.
here. And for those that were wondering who was my graphics designer, would you like to say who that was?
That would be me.
Yes, everyone was actually wondering, Ryan, who was your graphics designer? They're great.
Yep.
I won him. It's the one that has this awesome video game, Below the Stone.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm proud to work on all different kinds of art, including, graphics arts. And, this is kind of where my hobby this is kind of my outlet. Working on video games, but also working on side things like that. Working on graphic arts.
Yes, and he's my cousin, and he's going to be famous, so... And guys, check out Below the Stone. Definitely check my cousin Michael out. He's getting there. He's getting there. Check him out.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yep.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview.
Yes, and give this video a like and comment what your favorite part was.